Much love to you, friend. Keep all that positivity going, right? So it's early afternoon here. It's about, well, for me, it's just about 1:30. I started a little bit before the half past. But anyway, here we are right before 3:30. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you? And hi, Anna. Just going to hang out for a moment, but because this does become a recording, I don't hang out for too long before I just start talking about what I plan on talking about. So yeah, so if you want to learn about true sidereal, if you want to learn about embodiment, if you want to talk about truth and you're not going to shy away from that stuff, by all means stick around, because that's what this channel is all about. I like to teach you who and what you are and how we're supposed to live in the truth, outside of religion, dogma, politics, all of that stuff. How we as human beings and spiritual beings are meant to live. And I am going to be talking about Christic astrology, and Christic astrology is what I call the combination of true sidereal, which looks at the actual placement of the planets in the sky, and the truth about the signs and the planets and everything. So free of distortion. That's what Christic really means to me, is free of distortion or manipulation or any of the stuff like that's been done to a lot of the information, right? It's been distorted, it's been twisted, it's been turned, and this, we're not, it's interesting that the stuff, so if we look at how things have been distorted for us, just look at medication and look at, like herbs that are out there. So something potent like garlic or dandelion. And instead, we get told that those treatments are alternative. Meanwhile, they've based their medications off of synthetic versions of those things. So there's the distortion, right? We're going to tell you that's, I don't know if you should trust that, but do trust this synthetic stuff that, is going to give you side effects and, you're going to be on for life. It's not curing anything, but do you stay away from those herbs, naughty herbs, right? So that's how information has been distorted on us. Just one example of it. And so with astrology, it's another component where there has been changes made to it that move it out of alignment, and distortions that have been built into it on purpose, right? And that's to keep us out of alignment and away from accessing the true power that exists within astrology. So when we're having a full moon like we are today, if you look in mainstream, you look at traditional astrology, hello, spiritual wander, you would see that the moon is supposedly a full moon in Gemini. That's what the talk is that it's a full moon in Gemini. But when you look at the actual sky, the moon isn't in the sign of Gemini, nor is the sun in the opposite of Gemini, which would be Sagittarius. So it's false. And for me, I just like to operate on the truth. And for years, I operated with tropical astrology. And then I branched beyond that into human design and gene keys and all of that stuff. And I still think that human design and gene keys have their tool, like have their benefits. There we go. They have their advantages or their benefits. They're useful for specific reasons. But I love to talk in terms of Christic astrology, which is a combination of true sidereal and it's been freed from the distortions that have been built into it. So that's what Christic astrology stands for. And today we have a full moon actually occurring in the sign of Taurus, which is a lot different energy than the energy of Gemini. So if you are doing rituals or you are following the moon phases or you're following the celestial bodies, you should at least be following it, looking at the true sky and what's actually going on in the sky right now. And if you look on any sky app, it's going to tell you that the moon is in Taurus. It moved into Taurus today. So it's a full moon in Taurus. And the sun, in order for the sun to be full moon in Gemini, like I said, it would have to be in Sagittarius. But the sun's actually in the sign of Ophiuchus, but they've omitted that from traditional or tropical or seasonal, whichever name you choose, the mainstream astrology. They removed the 13th sign. So I put that back. I put the 13th sign back. So when I talk about, because true sidereal acknowledges the 13th sign, if you're looking to have your true sidereal chart done, so you want to see what the actual planets were at the moment of your birth, you really want to know what signs you were born under. Masteringthezodiac.com does free natal charts in true sidereal. Now, that will give you just a brief little view of it. And that's still not 100% accurate. And the only reason I'm going to say it's not 100% accurate is because of two things. One, it still has the distortions built in it. So things like Gemini being that, almost two-faced is what people say, or they feel like they're a bit of a liar because they believe two different things can be true, which is what Gemini very much can hold space for, opposing things and be like, yeah, this and that are both true, which is actually a gift of Gemini. So the sun is actually in Ophiuchus. So opposing Ophiuchus, which is also, it would also oppose Scorpio, is the constellation of Taurus. It depends on what stage of Ophiuchus you're in. It's Taurus, or it could move over a little bit. Because the planets the constellations don't occupy the same space in the sky, but in tropical or traditional astrology, they create the wheel, and each constellation gets an even piece of the wheel. So that's just another distortion that's built in there. And I'm all about the truth. I'm all about the truth. So let's find the truth. Let's reveal it. Let's, with everything. Let's get to the bottom of it. So today we're celebrating a wonderful full moon in Taurus. Let's harness the true energy of the full moon and honor it the way that we're supposed to. And if you're someone that's interested in what your chart is, or what your soul stream reading is, I will be having them on the website soon. You could book one, but you'd have to book one by first just booking a free clarity call or sending me an email. And I would just we would have a conversation about what all it entailed, what all you were receiving, the price of it, all of that stuff. And then I would just give you a pay link until I have everything up on the website. Or you can just wait. You can just wait until I have everything set up on the site, and then it'll tell you everything right there. Although I do love to sit down across from you guys and in conversation. It's so fun to meet the people kind of in person. I mean, where possible. But to see your face, because you've seen mine for quite some time, and in a lot of cases. Okay, so let's start talking about true sidereal. We have a couple other things to talk about, but it is a full moon in Taurus, and we are going to start with the planetary lineup, or the celestial sidereal Christic sky report. That's not a long name. All right, so it's Thursday, December 4th, 2025. It sounded weird saying 2025. Okay, it is Thursday, December 4th, 2025. In 2 days, it's my birthday. And I don't know if you know this, but I own a nonprofit. And my nonprofit is called Hugs for Homeless. And what Hugs for Homeless does is we get donations and we purchase items and build backpacks. So the items that we purchase are things like beanies or toques, depending on what country you're in, mitts and socks, a blanket, a water bottle, some electrolyte packages, feminine hygiene products, actual like toothpaste, toothbrush, comb, razors, all that stuff. And we distribute them into the community for homeless people. So that's my nonprofit, and that's what I would really love is donations for my birthday. I'm just saying, if I was to put up a thing on, on Facebook for a birthday donation thing, that's what I would be putting up. Hi, Sari. So I'm always looking for donations for Hugs for Homeless. It's something that I'm so extremely passionate about, obviously, or I wouldn't have a nonprofit doing it. And as we have, advanced through the years, the homeless situation has become even worse. As prices continue to skyrocket and there's market instabilities and things like that, and, employment increases, and, it's just really putting people at a disadvantage, especially when the necessities of life are the things that are skyrocketing in price the most. So any little bit helps, whether it's $1 or, whatever you can afford. So there, that's that's my spiel about my nonprofit Hugs for Homeless. Okay, so let's talk about our true sidereal Christic sky report for December 4th, 2025. This is Thursday, at least where I am. And this is all based, when I give times, I will say that those times are in my time zone, and that would be whatever that conversion to your time zone, it would happen at that time for you. But we don't have any transits that are happening today, so it's okay. So we've got the sun in Ophiuchus, we've got the moon in Taurus, we've got Mercury in Libra, we have Venus in Scorpio. That just happened a couple days ago. The moon in Taurus is fresh too. So these are two energy changes that we've had for today. We have Mars in Ophiuchus, Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and Pluto in Capricorn. So what does this all mean? Besides the fact that we're going to talk first about the full moon in true Taurus. So today's full moon roots you deeply into your body. Taurus is an earth sign. It is very grounded energy. We'll keep going. So Taurus is the stabilizer, the one who remembers what is real, and also when everything else gets loud. This moon is a soul retrieval of grounded truth. You are not your pace, your productivity, or your performance. Hear that? Sorry, I'm on two different channels too. I should let you know that. So if I'm looking down, it's not that I'm looking at my camera in a weird angle for those up top. And when I'm looking up top is because I have YouTube and Facebook on the channel above, the way that I have my stuff set up. Okay. So the moon is a soul retrieval of grounded truth. You are not your pace, your productivity, or your performance, right? You are breath. You are being. You are the earth remembering itself through form. You are so much more than just a body, right? You are so much more than just your thoughts. You're so much more than just your accomplishments. So let this moon energy draw your energy down and in. Let it nourish the parts of you that have been in overdrive. Let it remind you that safety lives within the truth of your body, right? You will feel the safest when you are in your truth, right? When you're not living a life that's not in alignment with you, that maybe has you aligned to people who aren't in alignment with you, and thereby keeping you in that fearful state. Just one part of it, or going to work in a position or at a job where you feel undervalued or unseen, and you continue doing that, and how it beats down on your spirit, and it just keeps making you, fall lower and lower. So the energy overview for today is that the Sun and Mars are still blazing together in the sign of Ophiuchus. Yet the Moon in Taurus brings in the balancing current of the Earth. So this is going to tamper down that like really, really elevated energy. So this is not a contradiction. It is a completion. The fire of divine transformation is tempered by the Earth's wisdom. The result is this anchored ignition, transformation that lasts because it's rooted. So Aries gives us that igniting energy. It gets us out the door. It gets us chasing our goals because Aries is that fire sign, and fire is tied to your desires and your passion. And you will take those steps in the direction of your desires when you are fired up with that energy. Taurus, on the other hand, says we're going to ground this. We need to make this more stable, because if we keep going at Aries pace, we're probably going to burn out, or we're going to miss key steps because Aries is just charging forward. So we have to think about like how these signs work together and how they really form that next step, the deepening. And so Taurus is that energy. Taurus is, let's make this stable. Let's ground this energy. We want legacy. We don't want flash in the pan. We want to make, a solid foundation. So this beautiful, beautiful transformation that goes because of that Taurus energy is a transformation that lasts because it is very rooted. There is no need to rush. The fire will wait. Tend the soil first. That's Taurus's message. So we have the Sun in Ophiuchus and Mars in Ophiuchus, which again is resurrected will and divine action. That's what those energies, the Sun being the resurrected will and Mars being divine action. That's what it becomes when those planets are in the sign of Ophiuchus. So the sacred fire of Ophiuchus continues to blaze. And with Mars still present, the will is amplified. This is the cosmic forging of purpose. You're not here to act from impulse. You're here to act from embodiment, right? You transform by becoming that which you wish to be, right? But you have to be it. It's not about thinking about it. It's not a wishing about it. You actually have to be it. So once you become it, that's the transformation point. And Ophiuchus energy is very much about resurrection. It is, this is Phoenix energy. So Ophiuchus reminds you that true transformation does not require destruction. You don't have to burn it all to the ground. You don't have to wait until you hit collapse. You don't have to wait until, the last shoe falls or whatever all those little sayings are. Right? You don't have to worry. You can do it, right? You can do it now. It just requires that alchemical surrender of to your true essence, right? So Mars in Ophiuchus brings the strength to act, but that action must be sacred. Purify the why before you take action. That's what Ophiuchus is asking from us, is to purify that why before we take action. And then we have the moon in Taurus. Like I said, we have a full moon in Taurus, which is awesome. But let's talk about this a little bit more. So the moon in Taurus is embodied peace and rooted truth. Taurus invites your nervous system to exhale. This is the moon of remembrance through the body, this sacred slowness, sensual attunement, and inner steadiness. This is earth energy. This is grounded. This is safe. This is structured. This is embodied. This is it's a beautiful energy that Taurus brings. So if it doesn't feel safe in your body, it's not the path, right? You want something that when you sit with it, feels safe to you, so that you're not putting yourself in positions that you're not meant to be in. So sit with it, feel it in your body. Does it feel grounded? Does it feel safe? Does it feel open, or does it feel tight, constricted, scary, terrifying, like any one of those, nerve-wracking, like to the nth? Not that taking, and I can talk about that as someone who has opened 2 companies and, done a whole host of other things, including flew around the world as a flight nurse, having never flown in my life. I just decided after being an emerge nurse that I think it would be awesome to be a flight nurse. And I don't know if I'm going to be terrified of flying or what's going to go on. And I just did it. I just did it. So, and then with my nonprofit, I'm starting that up, and now I'm stepping out into another arena that is not something that is familiar to me, right? And so we have to take those steps that maybe are outside of our comfort zone, but when you sit with it, when I sit with my goal of having this nonprofit, Hugs for Homeless, and distributing bags into the communities, when I sit with that feels so grounded and safe and a part of me, and I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So me going and setting up a table somewhere with a donation bin and, and talking to people and having, that's something I'm not familiar with. So that's something that I have to take those measured steps, out of my comfort zone to do. But it's not terrifying me. And, maybe there is some element of things that are in alignment with what you want to do that are terrifying to you, because maybe you have a fear of public speaking and whatnot. But when you're really embodied in your soul, like when you're embodied in your higher self and you're walking forward in that energy, you're making decisions that are in alignment with you, and you're walking in the direction that you're meant to. Your ego may be every now and then piping up with, I don't know if that's safe, or we're gonna go speak in public. Are you crazy? Right? Whatever your ego's saying, it can be doing those things, and but you still know that you're making the steps in the right direction. The terror or the fear or the anxiety or the tightness, the compression, all of those things that you're feeling in your body when you're going in the wrong direction, there's more cues than just that little bit of nervousness or knowing that, say, you have a fear of something like public speaking. So it's obvious that if that's a part of the role, you're going to be scared of that, not because it's out of alignment, but because you have a known fear of it. And that's usually from our ego anyway, because our ego builds our life from our past. It drives the car looking down the road we just came from and decides it's going to turn here or there because of that. So Taurus is this beautiful grounded energy. And if it doesn't feel safe in your body, it's not the path. If it doesn't nourish your root, it's not the truth. So this full moon is a recalibration. Let your breath lead, let your body speak, right? Feel into it and let your roots receive. Just open yourself to receive. Taurus is in the 2nd house, which is also the house of finance, because finance is tied to your self-worth, which is what Taurus is all about. Taurus knows that it's worthy. Taurus feels it. It doesn't need someone to tell it. Nice warm tea. Love it. All right. So we've got Mercury in Libra and Venus in Scorpio. So this is where mental clarity, because Mercury is your thoughts and communication. It's the mental landscape, whereas the moon is the emotional landscape. And we want to look at these two things on a daily basis so that we can understand how the celestial bodies are affecting the energies, and how you're going to express through that, or how you need to move through that energy. So Mercury is your mental landscape, moon your emotional landscape. And with Mercury being in Libra, that's balance, that's harmony. It's just really harmonious energy and just energy. Then you have Venus in Scorpio, and Venus governs your desires and relationships. And so we like to look at those three on a daily basis. So your mental landscape, your your emotional landscape, and then relationships and desires and attraction, like all of that energy. And they really do go together in that triad, and it should be your daily triad to check in. And you can use the Sky Live app and look at the major bodies and easily see in your area, Moon in Taurus, Mercury in Libra, Venus in Scorpio, and you could just look at it every day, refresh it, look at those three places, see when the sun transits too, because that's important. And then just know the truth about the signs. Don't get the distortions that are there. So Mercury and in Libra and Venus in Scorpio, the mental clarity comes from the Mercury meets depth of heart. That's Scorpio and Venus. That's the depth of the heart. So the mind wants balance. The heart wants truth. So there could be a bit of a battle between what your heart wants and what your mind wants in this situation, because truth may not be what is harmonious or may not be what that balance, that balance thing is. It's kind of like somebody that's like, I just don't even want to talk about this. Like, can we just leave this as it is because it's pretty status quo? And the heart is like, no, we're going to talk about this because we're going to get to the truth of the matter. So it's that kind of battle that's going on. So Mercury still dances in Libra, crafting language for what needs to be said with grace. But Venus in Scorpio pierces the surface, revealing what is buried beneath the words. Together they form the bridge between diplomacy and depth. So don't avoid discomfort, say what liberates, love what transforms, speak from the soul. That's what this combination is asking you to do. So when we do a little rundown of the additional planets and the insight that they have, because remember, these are larger, the celestial bodies are further out, and the further that they get out, the less individual effects that they have, or the less day-to-day effects. They're affecting society like Pluto, or they're affecting your mission like Jupiter. So Jupiter in Gemini, curiosity expands the field, but only discernment reveals the thread worth following. Because remember, Gemini likes to disseminate information, and Gemini likes to learn a lot. They are seekers of information, and I like to think of them like butterflies or bees, going along and pollinating everything. That's an excellent example of Gemini. But Gemini is also like those dandelion tufts, and when you blow on them, they just go everywhere. That's also Gemini, right? So it's that they're out there just like saying, like talking to everybody. So you want to make sure that you don't get too scattered, or that you're following the line that's in truth with you when you're headed in that direction. We've got Saturn in Aquarius, which means structures must evolve. Collective integrity is the only way forward. We're seeing so much in society, right? It's you against you and me against them and them against me and this against that and the one, and it's just a constant but it's not polarity, it's division. And I put a post up on, I'll check, but I did put a post up somewhere on polarity. I know there's one on Facebook on polarity and versus duality concepts, but we need to just stop, like stop allowing the show to control us and to make us hate each other for no reason, because we don't even know each other anymore. We don't even connect anymore. We are begging for people to give, say, there's so much stuff going on around the world, right? I'm in Canada, people in the US, what's going on in their country. When you look at what's going on in Nigeria, Congo, what was going on in other places, that has come to some kind of a conclusion, right? All of this stuff going on around the world, and everybody is saying we have to care about that, and we have to give for that, and we have to care about that, and we have to give for that. And it's absolutely exhausting for everybody, because it's just completely pulling us in all these different directions, while simultaneously tugging at our heartstrings and getting us to be very empathic and want to give everywhere where there's all these tragedies happening. But at the same time, every single culture or country is tearing apart their own, and half the time from within, right? So these structures need to evolve, and we need to move towards that space of collective integrity. We've got Uranus and Taurus. So this is innovation through embodiment. Your body is a future technology. If we understood the actual power of our body, like the beauty that's held within our body, how it's an absolute machine of wonder. Like your DNA, they did tests at one point, studies. They were able to put gigabytes and terabytes of information and store it on your DNA and then withdraw it. So they could actually access and use your DNA as a hard drive. Like, how crazy is that? And you're like maybe thinking, well, it's pretty awesome, the scientists or this, that, the technology that allows them to do that. No, you're the technology. You're the technology that should be, oh my God, wow, right? In the absence of chemicals, in the absence of injury, in the absence of being poisoned, in the absence of doing things against what's your health or your alignment, your body naturally heals itself. It will restore itself to equilibrium in the absence of all the crap. That's how amazing your body is. So the innovation is your body, and embodying your higher self is the best thing that you can do for yourself. So we have Neptune in Pisces. This is the dream is powerful, but you need to ensure that it is aligned with source, not illusion. So some of the conversations that came up a long time ago, hello, Crystal Dawn and Frida, I saw you go by. There is, and whether you want to call it conspiracy theory or not, it's something that's out there, and you can take it with what you want to take it with. But apparently at some point, the dream state has been hijacked, the astral realm, stuff like that. So you have to be really protecting yourself, aligning with your truth, and being able to be connected to your body, like really feeling your body so you can discern what is the truth. Your intuition is felt through your body. So if you're not feeling your body, you're not feeling your intuition, right? If you're in your head trying to logic everything, you're missing out on that whole system of information. So try to, get into your body. We've got Pluto in Capricorn, and this is where we're getting that energy, which people would say is Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius energy, and that it's, this revolution energy. But as I've told you before, I went to the Live Sky, right? I went to the livesky.com, which is how everything is above us right now, based on your longitude and latitude. It's what all the stuff is, seeing in the sky. And I rolled that forward until I saw that that Pluto transited out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. And that happens January 21st in 2040 at 8:17 a.m. Mountain Time. So whatever time yours is in comparison to my Mountain Time, that's when it's happening for you. So 2040, it's a long way from being Aquarius season, but that's mainstream astrology. That it's very much out of alignment with the actual truth. So what happens when we're adopting a birth chart that isn't based in truth? What happens when we agree to the label that they have given about, say, Virgo or Gemini or Aries? Like, how many people think that because they're Aries, they have to have a really bad temper? Because that's a hallmark sign of Aries, is to be, to be passionate and fiery and, to fight first and, talk last kind of thing. Right. So all of these negative things are built into the planets and the signs and all of that because we identify to those labels and then we adopt the characteristics of the label. So they like to have those negativities in there because that keeps us from realizing the truth. So when Pluto is in Capricorn, what we get is that the deep architecture of power is shifting. And what we're supposed to be doing now is only building what our soul will stand behind. Like, you want to be standing on this. You want to be building the new earth. You want to be building the truth. We're not here, to play around. We're supposed to be remembering who and what we are, and then embodying that truth. That's what we all decided we were going to come down here and do, because us embodying our truth is what brings about the new earth. So the longer that us who identify as star seeds or light workers or whatever moniker, chosen, earth angel, it goes on and on. Whatever one of those that you want to acknowledge as being your title or your role, or you have this mission, then are you on it? Because if you're not on it, why not? You just came down here anyway to embody, like to remember who and what you are and live as you are supposed to live and follow that oversoul that you have embodied, right? You embody your oversoul in the process. So your daily embodiment prompt, because we're with that moon in Taurus, so we want embodiment, is let your body lead. So you're going to ask, what does safety feel like in my body? What truth is being stored in my bones? What no is ready to be said so my yes can rise? All right, so let that full moon, Taurus full moon, bring you back to the rhythm that is real. And I bless your full moon. You are earth, you are flame, you are the truth made form. Which takes us to the next little bit that I want to talk about. But just give me a minute. Say hello, loves. I'm going to have a sip of tea. It's the perfect cup. Stay wild, moonchild. I don't know where I got it. I think I got it somewhere. I'm like, I don't remember where now. I've been here and there, man. I've been everywhere, man. That should be my that should be my it's either that or life is a highway. I don't know which one. I have moved literally over 60 times in my life. And I cannot wait when I finally decide to stop moving and just travel. And I'll just live in the same home and I'll just carry a suitcase places instead of like moving everywhere. But I have seen so many things, and apparently I needed to go to that space. My energy was needed there just as much as I needed the energy from that space for whatever reason. It's all about your evolution, right? It's what we're working towards. And that comes from embodiment. That's what we have to get to, is the space of embodiment. So your task is to remember who and what you are and how you're meant to live. And I can help you with that. Stick around. I can help you with that. But you can also go check out my website. I have lots of stuff over there, books and courses and mini classes and individual sessions. And did I say groups? Membership groups. I have all kinds of stuff. You should see the stuff I put out. You should go see it. I did a transmission for the full moon for the Oracle Chamber, which is just beautiful. And I also did a meditation. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful meditation. And it was going to be behind the paywall in the Oracle Chamber, which is a membership group that I have. But I've decided that instead of doing that, that I would actually just put it in the Temple of Light group, which is a free group on my website. So if you want to do a really lovely meditation for this Taurus full moon, go and check it out there. Trying to think if I'll put it on my YouTube channel. I don't know. I'll think about it. It takes creating a video to put it on YouTube, whereas right now it's just it's a voice thing. So we're going to talk about embodiment because that's what we came here to do. That's what we were choosing. Right? We made this decision. We were going to incarnate at this time because we wanted to be a part of the Great Awakening. And the way that we be a part of that is by remembering who and what we are and living as we're supposed to live. And by proxy, other people around us, the earth itself, wake up. It's just the way that it happens. You know, as people see you step out of the mold, they're like, wait a second, you can do that? You mean you don't have to follow what everyone else is doing? You mean you don't have to live that same way? You mean you don't have to work a 9 to 5? No, you don't. You can do it in other ways. Okay, so let's talk about embodiment. And now that I've had some tea and I feel like we've had enough time in between the two topics. Okay, so today we are standing in the light of the full moon in Taurus, a moon that brings us back to the body, back into truth, and back into the parts of ourselves that we have been avoiding or forgetting. So the moon is here to help you come home to yourself. So Taurus is the moon of embodiment. It brings everything out of the mind and into the body. It asks you, what is real? What is stable? What is true? What do you value? And what are you building your life on? These are some pretty big questions that it brings out, right? So full moon in Taurus reveals where your foundation is strong and where it is ready to change, which is good. We want those changes. We want to change the way that we're meant to. So the Taurus full moon and the body. Taurus teaches that intuition is not a thought. It's a sensation, a response that's in the body. So this moon asks you to slow down enough to hear what your body has been trying to tell you. The tension, the peace, the exhaustion, the desire, the truth you feel in your chest, the heaviness you feel in your shoulders, the clarity you feel in your belly. Your body is speaking today. The moon is amplifying its voice. Because it's Taurus. So the Oversoul speaks through calm clarity. The body is the vessel that receives it. Today, the full moon in Taurus strengthens this connection. It makes Oversoul truth easier to feel, easier to trust, and easier to embody. This moon says you cannot think your way into what you are becoming. You must feel it, live it, anchor it. That's embodiment. You have to live it. You can't just think it. The ego, however, is a little bit confused today. The ego is like, why is everything so quiet? Oversoul, so you can finally hear me. But I need to be busy. No, you need to be present. This feels unsafe. This is what safe actually feels like. The moon softens the ego, not by force, by grounding. And remember, we talked about this in the last few days about how when we are embodying our oversoul, because that's how we bring heaven to earth, is we embody, we bring our oversoul into our body, which brings the heaven part to the earth part. Our oversoul is what we would consider like the spiritual aspect, and the body is the physical or the earth aspect. So that's how we bring heaven into earth, is through us remembering who and what we are and embodying that truth and living as such, right? So the full moon illuminates what has been hidden. Taurus illuminates your self-worth, your self-value, your inner stability, your embodiment, your boundaries, what you choose to tolerate, what you will no longer tolerate, the truth of your path, the truth of your needs, the truth of what you are becoming. This moon brings clarity to the foundation you are building your life on. Okay, so we're going to do this little practice, okay? We're going to put our hand on our heart. We're going to take a nice slow breath in through the nose, down into the tummy, and then out. If your mind's really busy or you're very your energy's been quite elevated lately, then you might want to do a couple of breaths like that, but you just want to slow your breathing down, and you want to kind of dip into the space that comes up when you connect to your breath. So allow yourself to breathe nice and slow and deep, and put your hand on your chest. And you're going to ask your body, you can even say that, body, what have I been ignoring that I am ready to feel today? Let whatever rises be the truth. Do not judge it. Do not push it away. Just witness. This is embodiment. It's not forcing, it's not pushing, it's just receiving. It's just connecting to yourself and actually listening to your guidance. There's nothing better than that. Nobody knows the path. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows you better than you, and especially the you that's outside of this physical incarnation and knows all of you, every aspect. So this moon is preparing you for consistency, for truth lived daily, for a life that matches your inner worth, for alignment that does not break under pressure, for boundaries that feel natural instead of forced. It's preparing you to stop abandoning yourself. It is preparing you to return to yourself. This is a turning point moon. When you are in my field, you feel your oversoul more clearly. You feel grounded, you feel safe, you feel seen. You feel capable of becoming who you have always known you are. This is the gift of embodiment. This is what Taurus teaches. This is what I teach. So let tonight be a moment of truth, not a dramatic shift, not a forced reinvention, just truth in the body, truth in the breath, truth in your choices. The Taurus full moon lights the path. Your Oversoul walks it with you. So we're going to do a quick little summary about what we talked about today for those that showed up later and missed the celestial outlook. Plus it'll recap a little bit of the embodiment stuff, which, as I've said before, links really well with the Taurus moon because it's all about embodiment. So recap of today. Today we entered the field of the Taurus true sidereal full moon. This is a sacred moment of embodied truth, nervous system grounding, and oversoul attunement. We began by exploring what this full moon truly brings. Taurus doesn't rush, it roots. This moon slows us down to feel what we've been ignoring, to trust the body, and to remember that our worth is not our performance, our production, it's our presence. It's all you have to do is be, and your presence is enough. So with the Sun and Mars in Ophiuchus, we are still walking the path of that divine resurrection and sacred will. But the Taurus moon, the Taurus full moon, showed us how to temper the fire with Earth's wisdom. So it grounds that energy a bit. So in this transmission, we redefined what a Taurus full moon really is, not comfort, but clarity. We explored the nervous system as the temple of embodiment. We gave the ego a seat to rest, not rule. We anchored the oversoul into the felt sense of the body and offered a live practice, a lived practice, you lived it, embodiment lived, oh my goodness, a live practice to help you reconnect with what's being buried, but is ready to be felt. We also looked at the other planetary placements, which included Mercury in Libra and Venus in Scorpio, which is mental balance meets emotional depth, Uranus in Taurus, innovation through embodiment, Saturn in Aquarius, structure through soul-aligned vision, Neptune in Pisces, discerning dreams from distortions, and Pluto in Capricorn, truth in the bones of your foundation. We closed with a reminder that this full moon is not about dramatics, it's about returning. You are the earth, you are the flame, you are the truth made form. And that's what we covered today. And all of it, all over again. How was that? We did that pretty good. We actually covered that in just under an hour. That's because you guys were quiet. Nobody was entertaining me, so I had to just keep talking. All right, so pop back over here, in Temple of Light, you'll find the meditation. I'm going to be putting it up right after the live. In the Oracle Chamber, you'll find the full transmission on the full moon and the energetics and how to work with it. And it's so beautiful. Like, I really love the one that came this month. What else do we have? I have 2 books dropping this year on the 21st of December on winter solstice. That is Tiana and the Phoenix Who Refuses to Burn. You got to live life your way. And also Infinite Wonders, which is just a beautiful book to remind children, and these are both children's books. I mean, you can feel free to read them. I'd read them too. I've read lots of children's books. When my kids were little, it actually gave me the freedom to read them without anyone questioning anything, right? I could get away with reading children's books. Like, I read the whole Charlie Bones series because my son was into them. It made me so happy because I really enjoyed that series. But that's me. You gotta stay that kid at heart, right? Let that kid come out and play and just acknowledge it. But yeah, we did pretty good today. I think we covered a lot of information. Definitely check into those things, but those 2 books come out. The one is book 5 in the Unlikely Heroine Chronicles. The other one, Infinite Wonders, is book 6 in the Luminous Scrolls and the Luminous Soul series. And there is other news would be, there is an Oversoul Anchoring and Tree of Light mini class in the shop. There is coming up on January 9th, I will be starting Bridge to Light Phase 2. This is all about embodiment. And on March 20th, I will be starting Christic Astrology. So you can learn all about the truth of the planets. You can learn all about the truth of, like how we're meant to use astrology. And this will all be based on true sidereal. So you're going to learn about true sidereal as well. So there's lots happening all the time. On March 20th, there'll also be another Unlikely Heroine, and there'll also be another Luminous Soul book, because I publish them quarterly. And who knows what'll come out between now and then. This is just a very brief overview. If you're looking for anything, just check out my website. And if you have any questions, by all means, just book a free call or send me an email and I'll respond to your email. And you can catch me on all the socials. My website has my socials on there. And for those of you that are feeling extra generous, and I know we're coming up to Christmas this month, and that can have everybody stretched thin. But if you are feeling like being generous this Christmas season, I have a nonprofit called Hugs for Homeless. We gather donations to put together backpacks, which are what we call hugs. And these hugs contain all kinds of essentials that make it easier on someone who is impacted by homelessness. So there are feminine pads within it. There are toques or beanies, whichever country you're from or whatever you call the hats, the warm hats. There are mittens, there's blankets, there's a blanket, there is a water bottle, there are hygiene products, and electrolytes, and like a bunch of wonderful things for individuals in there. Each backpack costs between $100 and $120 to put together. So donations are definitely needed all the time, but even more currently. It is very cold out there. For those of you that don't know, I live in Alberta, Canada, and we've already hit minus 25 overnight one time. So, I can't imagine. Cannot imagine being outside at minus 20. At least when I experienced my homelessness as a child, it was through the summer months, and we were able to camp in a tent by a lake, and it felt really like we were just camping for a long time. Like that's what it felt like to us kids, even though we didn't have a home to go back to. I almost ended up homeless as an adult, but I'm lucky because I have family, and my family was not going to let that happen, so they allowed me to stay with them. But not everybody's that lucky, or, if something happened again, it could get to a position where maybe my family was stretched too thin and couldn't help either. Right. And so, this is something that's really, really powerfully personal to me. And yeah, it means a lot to me. So if you're in a generous spirit, anything helps, right? Anything helps, as we take any donations monetarily, and we will be doing drives at some point where we'll be taking donations of physical things. That way there, if you want to be in control of what gets donated, and you want to offer something else, or maybe you're a corporation that has all kinds of hats, and you just want to give a donation of hats, we would be willing to accept that too. But anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to let you guys head off for your Tuesday. Do check out the replay if you didn't get to see it. There was a lot that we covered today, a lot of great information for you, and the full moon stuff. And go check out the Temple of Light free group, beautiful meditation to help you with the full moon energy today. Love you guys. Have a beautiful afternoon. Love you. Mwah.